So what was the best thing about coming home from school in the 90s?
The torture was over. Cartoons.
Hey everybody, welcome to On the Level. Today we are talking about 90s cartoons.
We picked our 10 favorites. Some we've seen more than each other.
Yeah.
But we kind of combined our list together, made a top 10, and it was hard to do. There's so many 90s cartoons that were really good that we liked, but
yeah,
we did our best. Yeah. I Was Sheltered was a cartoon?
It might be. I wouldn't know because I was sheltered. So first we have Reboot. And that was a show that I watched a lot. We had talked about it previously in the video of canceled TV shows or canceled cartoons that we were very sad about. And I loved it. It's just CG, really kind of bad CG.
But at the time, it was really unique to have an entire show be CG.
Yeah, and like I said before, I still want Glitch. It's a little thing that goes, I pretty much have him now.
Oh, yeah.
You just can just turn into whatever you want. Basically, go gadget of wristwatches, or whatever you call it.
Technically, Inspector Gadget was the 80s.
That's true. But it got canceled, so I never really got any resolve from it. But it might be coming back.
A reboot of Reboot.
A reboot of Reboot.
Well, up at number 9, we had one of my favorites, and this was one that you didn't watch a lot.
Didn't get a lot of a chance to see.
It was Tiny Toon Adventures. I love the show. Basic premise of the show, you have all of the kids, basically, of all of the Warner Brothers characters.
Right.
So, you know, you had Buster and Babs Bunny, who obviously were related to Bugs Bunny. I don't know if it was Bugs Bunny's kids or if like it was nieces, nephews, something like. There was some sort of relation. Basically, it was kid versions of Tasmanian Devil and all of these different
characters. The Looney
characters.
Tunes had done it and produced.
But there was one particular character that was awesome named Elmira. Elmira.
Human?
Elmira was human,
right.
and was the one who loved things a little too much,
right?
And squeezed them until they almost died, basically.
Yeah, it was a show that I didn't get a lot where I grew up, so I didn't get to see it. But when I did catch it, you're reminding me of a lot of things.
And it was cool because they were all in school, and the teachers were the original Warner Brothers characters. So you went to a class, and Daffy Duck would be your teacher, and so they were able to bring those characters in, but then introduce you to a slew of new characters and their wild and wacky, crazy adventures.
Well, another show that I didn't really get to watch that much either because I had the rabbit ears. Was Doug, and you know a little bit more about Doug than I do.
Doug's an awesome show. Doug's just an awkward, weird kid with an even more awkward, weird friend.
I know
named
Quail
Skeeter.
Man.
Quail Man.
Yeah, and Skeeter and the dog.
Skeeter, the dog.
I know just enough about it.
The dog is Pork Chop. He was in love. Doug was in love with Patty Mayonnaise. There was an annoying bully named Roger.
Someone did a BuzzFeed, I'm assuming it's BuzzFeed, it's always BuzzFeed, about them growing up.
Yeah. Well, there's also, he had his favorite band, which was the Beats.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, the best thing in the world was hearing that theme song and knowing that the show was going to come on. You know, we all know the theme song.
Even I know that.
Yeah, everyone knows that song. People know that song and don't even know what it's from. Like, you could literally, if you're stranded on an island and a bunch of Aborigine people come up to you and they're about to kill you. No, if they're about to kill you. You sing that, and they're like, no, he's a friend. And then they help you and bring you water and teach you how to till the land.
Do Aboriginals know how to till?
I don't know. They'll probably teach you how to kill a wild boar or something like that.
There we go.
They're like, do. Up next at number 7, fantastic show, the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
We have...
they're like the perfect Cartoon Network show.
Yeah, we have Blossom, Bubbles, Buttercup, John, Paul, George.
Is it him?
Ringo. This show was awesome. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, the basic premise is
Chemical X,
sugar, spice, and everything nice was all put into a big pot and created 3 really cute but incredibly badass superheroes.
Right. Mojo Jojo is probably my favorite, mostly because you can say his name exactly like he does, and that's the only way to say it.
There's also
Jojo.
There's also the boy versions of them that they get to fight too.
The criminal versions where they're like the guys that dress up like the Powerpuff Girls.
Not that. That's funny though too.
That's the next cosplay right there.
No, but there's 3 boy versions of the Powerpuff Girls who are like nemesis.
I don't remember
them?
that.
Yeah.
I watched a decent chunk of Powerpuff Girls, Powderpuff Girls. Yeah.
Well, it's really funny to take something insanely adorable and make it badass and sometimes vicious. It's why like in Monty Python and the Holy Grail when the rabbit attacks, why that's so funny. Because you take this thing that you're like, oh, nah, you know? And they did it perfectly because they're super cute. They're like, oh, look at them cute in their beds, sleeping restfully and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, you know? And they had some serious fighting in that show.
It was great.
Yeah,
like the animation was spot on. Like Samurai Jack is probably better animation.
Well, Samurai Jack, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't made by the same people. That was the people who made
just like going off of animation style of favorites. The next one that we're talking about is Dexter's Lab. Did they ever do a crossover with Powerpuff and Dexter?
I don't know,
but I feel like there's something existed for that.
Unless I'm mistaken, I actually think Dexter's Laboratory, the people who made that, are the people who made Samurai Jack.
Are they?
I believe so.
I need to know.
I could be wrong. We'll look it up. If we find out, we'll let you know. Or if you know, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
But Dexter's Laboratory is our number 6, and Dexter's Laboratory is awesome. I love the fact that like no one realized that he had this giant laboratory behind a bookcase
in an attic, and they never questioned the power bill.
Never questioned that. They never questioned
anything.
His accent and how no one else had it.
Yeah.
And what it is.
It's almost German. It's
almost French. Sometimes
there's a lisp
there's a lisp. It's kind of Spanish-ish sometimes. Like, where is he from?
Was his mom ginger?
I think so. His whole family was like the all-American family.
It's such a fun show, though.
Yeah. And Dee Dee's hilarious. Dee Dee's absolutely hilarious.
I was so annoyed by her because she kind of reminded me of like how my sister would do things sometimes. Just like, this is going to annoy him. And Dee Dee's probably like the smartest person in the family. That's my theory. Yeah. That she knows everything that's going on.
Well, I mean, how many times has she saved him? How many times has she given him advice or helped him?
Yeah.
You know? And then he has his nemesis, who's, what is it, Mandark?
Yeah. Mandrake?
No, Mandark. Yeah. And and that's awesome too. It's awesome to have these like little kids making these crazy inventions for like diabolical reasons and stuff like that.
It's really fun.
It also makes me feel bad about what I accomplished in elementary school.
What have you accomplished in elementary school?
Nothing.
So quick question for you. What is your favorite 90s cartoon? Leave that down in the comments. We know we missed a lot.
Yeah, there's tons, and we just did our best to put together a list.
We just went with the ones we liked. So,
and up at number 5, we have
Sonic the Hedgehog. The specific one, the one that's called Sonic Sat AM. It was the one that was 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays, and it was like the dark, dystopian, post-apocalyptic version of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Because that makes sense.
And it's kind of dark. It was American. It was an American-made cartoon. It wasn't like anime-ish like the newish one is, or the really cartoonish Nickelodeon one. It was actually kind of serious. And that was what I really, really liked about it. Like the main first few episodes is him trying to save his dad, who had been turned into a robot by Robotnik, and he still had some of his humanity. I mean, even when I was a kid, apparently I liked the darker versions of cartoons, the more serious things, and it was just really entertaining. How much of it have you seen?
I've seen very little of that show.
We will have to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
It's all over. It's on YouTube somewhere. I mean, the episodes keep popping up.
Yeah, I'm sure U-Face will have it.
Yeah, U-Face.
Coming up at number 4, we have Animaniacs. Or should I say, it's time for Animaniacs.
It's time for Animaniacs.
Yakko, Wacko, and Dot Warner.
It's a lot more fun to watch these cartoons now.
Yeah.
Like getting like you were mentioning the Prince joke.
The Prince joke. If you look up the Prince joke, it'll make you laugh.
Yeah.
We'll try and find it and put it in the description. But it's
Yakko or Wacko watching them change, or watching the hot lady change.
The hot lady change. There's like a lot of even just going hello nurse, like that. There were a lot of adult things.
Spielberg. I mean, yeah, of course.
But this introduced us to Pinky and the Brain, which is awesome.
And had a great spinoff.
Yeah, it had the really angry old squirrel character that was really cool. One of my favorite things that it had is it had this little boy character who would run out of his house and then tell you a story, and then run back in the house
Yeah.
And there's one I remember in particular.
Which one?
Where he like runs out of the house and he's like, he was just like, so this one guy, or he's like, so this one time, my friend Bobby, he ate Pop Rocks while he drank soda and his head exploded. Okay, bye. And then he runs back into his house, and it was like that every single time. And I think that Good Mythical Morning might have stolen the Wheel of Mythicality because they had the Wheel of Morality
Right.
at the end of their episodes.
I mean, it's plausible.
I don't want to say stole, but we're influenced
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
Can we also appreciate the song of them putting all the countries?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Amazing.
And the voice
The fact
actor,
that he still has it memorized.
Yeah, the voice actor still has it memorized, and
Yeah.
unbelievable voice acting in that show. Which honestly, let's just give some respect to the people who do voice acting. They don't get enough respect. They're amazing.
And it's hard because they're behind the scenes, so you forget that they're not the characters and that they're actually performing something for you. And there's a documentary that we love. That it's
I know that voice.
Yeah, I know that voice.
If you want to watch something amazing, watch that.
Please. Number 3, Ren and Stimpy.
I love Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy, I don't know how you got on air. I don't know why you were allowed to be a show.
Who aired it?
Nickelodeon.
It was Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Why did
I do not know
realize
why this show was allowed to exist, but I'm so happy it did. It was so weird and gross.
I remember it making me like uncomfortable when I was younger. But like I still when I saw an episode, I watched it.
It's so uncomfortable. But it brought us a lot of cool things. There's particular episodes that are great, like Space Madness when they're in outer space and Ren just loses his mind. And
That reminded me. The first time I actually got to see like Ren and Stimpy and like Beavis Butthead and a lot of that stuff was Space Camp.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, because like I said, we didn't have any form of cable. I didn't have friends that had cable or anything like that, so I didn't get to see that. So when I went on vacation at the dorm room that was all that was always playing.
One of my favorite episodes of Ren and Stimpy is called Old Blue Nose, and
I think I've seen that one.
it's basically Stimpy, the cat, realizes that he can sing incredibly well.
Yes.
And it's because of his nose that he's able to sing very well, and he ends up becoming really famous and singing like Frank Sinatra. And
cool.
There's actually a point where he's like, "Come fry with me, come fry, let's fry an egg," or whatever. But then the nose is like, "I'm the talent here," and jumps off of his face and leaves. He's like, "I'm starting my own career," and they have this whole like separation anxiety situation. There's so many things on the show. Powdered Toast Man, Log, which is absolutely hysterical.
Horse.
Muddy Mud Skipper, the horse, and of course, the most important thing in the world, the Happy Happy Joy Joy song.
Yes.
If you have not heard the Happy Happy Joy Joy song,
then you're probably not alive.
yeah, what is wrong with you? Just listen to it. We'll try and put that in the description.
We'll find it somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Yeah, and the next two are debatable of what one
what's
is actually
number one and
one.
what's-
But Darkwing Duck is.
It's so good.
I remember that song.
Get dangerous. So it's him, right, and
Yep.
Launchpad McQuack.
Yep.
And they're like the duo. And
then, like, a
and
lot
he
of
has to
people-
like he has to have balance out having, is it his niece,
Yeah.
right, who's taken
Who
care of.
Yeah, who discovers that he's Darkwing Duck.
Right.
Something like that.
So he has to balance out that whole thing.
Yeah.
But he also, I love that he wants to be famous.
Yeah.
He's like completely,
Obsessed
obsessed with being famous. So he's like the opposite of most superheroes. he's like Johnny Storm in all of the Fantastic Four movies. He like wants to be famous, you know?
Right.
Although it's comical, a lot of the times in Darkwing Duck, like they fought.
Yeah.
And they actually he fought crime. And it was pretty new.
Yeah.
Especially for a Disney afternoon cartoon to do something like that.
It has a huge cult following now, and if anybody wants to send us a box set of the series, just hit us up. We'll
take it and watch it.
talk. We'll talk. Yeah. Don't you have a Darkwing Duck shirt?
Who's got the goods? I do have a Darkwing Duck shirt. In fact, I have a Darkwing Duck shirt that is a mashup with our #1 Batman the Animated Series, which is on list after list, including like IGN, and
Pretty much any list that we
yeah,
looked
no,
up.
but all of them, it's like, what's the #1 cartoon ever? And they say The Simpsons. And then they go, what's #2? And they say Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
It also is considered the best adaptation outside of comics of a comic book ever.
Wow.
Or at least of that character, or
You did your reading.
I did. I mean, people consider this to be the best adaptation of a comic book.
I had no idea.
And which is insane.
That's great.
It gave us Harley Quinn.
Huh. Oh, that's right. It
Yeah.
did give us Harley Quinn.
The first time we ever saw Harley
Yeah.
Quinn in our lives, in our existence, who's about to be in Suicide Squad, is in this, in a cartoon. They created that character, and then a year later, they put her in comic books.
Huh.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And and Harley Quinn's an amazing character, and some of the best episodes involve her and Poison Ivy and the Joker, saying pudding.
Pudding.
But also, lastly, this is another one of those things where they did something kind of dark and they did something kind of interesting, and they really took a chance and didn't make it campy or stupid.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And that's why it's so good.
Yeah. So if you'd like to see more about what we do, click right up here. We have 2 videos coming out every week.
And also, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with those videos. And until we see you guys next time, geek out and game on.
Some of his humanity or hedgehog atomy, whatever you would call it, left. And
Hedgehog atomy.
humanity.
You just took the hedgehog out of me.
and they woke us up with the Butthole Surfers.
All right.
And that was where I found my appreciation for the song Pepper.
Which is a great song.
Yeah.